Alrighty, welcome into the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave, cavetalkradio.com and the Cave Talk Radio app. Great to have you aboard, Gary Ayd, Rich, and Selmo. And we are live here from Middletown, New York. We have a great show in store for you, a lot to get to. And, oh, by the way, we are brought to you by Days Coffee. Coffee lovers everywhere in the Middletown and surrounding areas. This is our new spot. They have a patented blend containing 85% less caffeine approximately, but it still gives you that pickup. It tastes great, and it's actually good for you because of the decreased caffeine intake. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until recently you had to pay through the nose to get. It was hard to source. It was harder to produce and distribute. Now with this formulation, that is the thing in the past. Great tasting, healthy coffee that gives you the pickup but doesn't give you the jitters, doesn't upset your stomach, and it's affordable. About $3 or $4 gets you a nice sized cup of an iced coffee or an iced Americano, which is my favorite. And I'll tell you what, you can go in there and get an even better deal than that, thanks to its partnership with Cave Talk Radio. Here's what you do. Go to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2 there. That's radioonlydeals.com. These are single-use digital gift certificates. They're emailed to you upon purchase. Again, radioonlydeals.com for your $4 gift certificate for just $2 to Days Coffee. Or hit the screen right now if you're watching on Facebook and scan that QR code. And there you have it. And it's time for the opening rant, which today, Rich, is about the NFL. It's about the Giants. It's about football.
I'm here for it.
Yes. So the Giants made a huge move yesterday, acquiring all-star tight end Darren Waller. Now, I have to tell you something. They got him for nothing. Really for nothing. What, a conditional 5th-round pick. Now,
I thought it was a 3rd.
I believe it was a 5th. I'm almost positive.
Oh, even better.
Either way, that to me is the core issue I've always had with the NFL. How is it in any way equitable in the mind of the Raiders or any team? Teams overvalue NFL draft picks to such an extent, it doesn't even make any sense. Because whether it's just like a 5th-round pick, even a 2nd-round pick, for a guy as good as this guy, doesn't make any sense. So it looks like it was a 5th-round pick. So here's my thing. If you're going to trade a guy as good as Waller, and you're going to get a 5th-round pick back, in what world do you think you're going to get anything close to the same level player at that point? I mean, I get the salary cap moving and all that stuff, but the Raiders have a history of this. They traded, if you remember, they traded Randy Moss for like a pair of late-round picks to the Patriots. It's Randy bleeping Moss, one of like the 5 or 6 best receivers that have ever walked on the planet. Like, I just don't get it. I never have. I never will. Waller is a borderline Hall of Famer. I mean, let's be real about it. This guy is at least going to be on the ballot when he retires. He probably won't get in. He might not get in. And maybe he doesn't deserve to get in. But he's close enough that it will be discussed. And when you have a guy that is that good, it's like, why would you trade him? It doesn't make any sense for a 5th-round pick. Like, at least get like a starter quality player, at least get something. No, we're going to get a guy that's probably never even going to make the roster. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense to me. It never has.
I'm looking at it from the other side. What are the Raiders doing? You just signed a quarterback.
That's a great point.
Who obviously works with a good tight end and is one of his strengths. So let's trade the strength. So this is why some teams fail.
Yes.
It's poor planning, nothing better.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And the thing is,
not a bit.
For the Giants now, oh, great. This is fantastic. He fits them like a glove. An absolute gem. It gives them so much versatility in terms of bailing out Daniel Jones, a guy who can get open at the moment's notice, act as a security blanket. He's a perfect check down option or safety option for any mobile quarterback. This really, to me, moves the Giants offense forward a lot. I think now if they're able to find themselves a nice burner, a guy to take the top off the defense a little bit, I think all of a sudden this Giants offense could be really, really good next year because their offensive line last year was solid. Jones was solid. Barkley is Barkley. He's one of, if not the best running back in the NFL. And now you had a guy in Waller who is among the 4 or 5 best tight ends in the NFL, pass catching tight ends. If you get some health from your receivers that you had last year that were injured, Shepard and a few others, you add one dynamic playmaker to that. I'm calling up DeAndre Hopkins. All of a sudden, that's a good offense. Yeah. That's a really good offense. This is a steal for the Giants. I mean, even if you don't get a long time out of him, he just signed an extension with the Raiders. So he's under contract, I think, for 3 years. So if you get
play at least that.
Oh, yeah. And if you get
I don't see him going less.
No,
I think they'll get a decent amount of time with him.
I totally agree.
This is also going to tell you a lot about Jones.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. We've given you more.
Yep.
May not be done yet.
Yep.
And we've given you more. Let's see you take the next step. I think it puts a little pressure on him, which is good because he seemed to handle it well last year. And I'm curious to see what he does. This is only going to make him a better quarterback. Having this kind of weapon.
Oh, without
good tight ends are quarterback's best friends.
No question. Your second best friends is a good, safe running back. Now he has both.
Right.
It's good stuff. The other thing about this, if you're the Raiders, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, I think we should revisit it. What are you doing? You just signed Garoppolo, like you were saying, and now you move his best target. Like, Garoppolo has to be thinking, man, I can't win for losing. I get on a good team.
Oh, I know.
I'm supposed to be the starter. They draft some guy who's barely played. Then I'm not the starter. They try to run me out of town. The guy gets hurt. I have to go back in. I swallow my pride. I take them to an inch of the Super Bowl. Then we come back the next year. I finally the starter. The guy gets hurt. So now I'm the starter for real for the whole year. Now I get hurt. They go with a 4th string guy over me. Now they cut me. They move me on. Now I sign. I'm finally the starter, but now I have no one to throw to because they just traded my best player. Like, I feel bad for this guy, man. He's not had like one solid 2 or 3 year run of stability as a starting quarterback in his whole career. It's really a shame.
No, he hasn't.
It's like,
and the worst thing is, he has Devontae Adams. That should be his best weapon.
Yeah.
Well, you know something? Garoppolo works best with a tight end, as you've seen.
Yeah, with George Kittle. Yeah, so short yardage situations.
Yeah. He did it in New England with Gronk when Brady was out.
I'll tell you something.
That's the way he moves the football, and taking that away from him, unless they have someone or something else in mind, it's nothing short of irresponsible.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I feel like they don't want to win.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's kind of how I feel too. And by the way, there's some stuff to talk about with the Jets as well. We know they're on the move. And
yeah, their new GM Aaron Rodgers is doing a lot here.
That's right. He's not even employed by the team. Yeah, he's the GM. pretty amazing. It's good work if you can get it. And I'll tell you something and I was gonna save this for the next segment, but I'll mention it now. If I'm the Giants, if I'm the Jets, I'm assuming this Rodgers thing is still gonna happen. I know we put out that wish list of receivers, and the name I'm about to say isn't on it. But if the Raiders are having a fire sale, I'm at least calling about Adams. They're giving away Waller for a 5th round pick. I was like, all right, I'll give you a 4th. They're like, I don't know.
I don't think they'll do that.
You never know with these idiots. I mean,
even if you got him for a 2nd, it would be a steal.
Oh, I would trade a 1st for the guy. I'm just going in lowballing them because they seem to be willing to take garbage for greatness. Like, so, I mean, if they'll do it, the hell with it. But I don't expect them to. But they might. I mean, look, if you give away Waller for a 5th, why can't I have Adams for a 3rd? You know, like, I just.
Good question.
It's, hey, I'm calling, like I said, because Adams is the type of guy that I would give up a fairly healthy bounty to get. I mean, this is a game-changing receiver who's coming off a bad year because of playing with an awful organization and he had some injuries and whatever, but this guy's a beast.
And he's not done by any stretch.
No, is he 30, 31? He's not done. I don't even think he's that old. Honestly. So for me,
does he want to go to the Jets is the question.
Right. Well, does he have a choice is the other question if they decide to trade for him, but we'll see. But anyway, I was talking to my buddy Jim yesterday, who's a big Jet fan, and we were talking about this. I asked him what he thought about the Rodgers thing, and what he told me I thought was pretty refreshing. It was pretty refreshing, and I was happy to hear it. I respect his opinion. I respect his fandom. And I think he nailed it. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'll tell you what that conversation was. We'll get to the radio question of the day as well. Looks like we may be just going an hour today. I believe we'll have the baseball preview, the question of the day, and some NBA stuff. And then we'll be back tomorrow to the full length. But let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll do that next. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Coffee Lovers Middletown is now officially home to the home run of our favorite beverage, Days Coffee. Days' patented blend contains approximately 85% less caffeine than other coffees, which makes it better for you, yet unlike decaf coffee, still gives you that great pickup and tastes amazing. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until now required a complex and thus expensive sourcing and production process. With Dr. Lee's formulation, this enzyme's great health benefits can now be brought to your cup quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever before. Here's how you get a hold of this game-changing cup of joe. Go over to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com to buy your single-use digital gift certificate for Days Coffee. Radioonlydeals.com. That's radioonlydeals.com. Enjoy the preferred coffee of the Gary Ayd Show. Enjoy Days Coffee.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent? pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need. It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, we're back here on the Gary Ayd Show. Rich, what do you got as far as the Jets? Well, you got a guy named Jim. You remember Jim, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, Jim, as it turns out, is a big Jet fan. Used to do some stuff with us on the show. Big into sports gaming.
Right.
And I was talking to him yesterday. And during our conversation,
Gambling Jim.
Yes, Gambling Jim. During our conversation, I was told that I asked him, I just said, "Hey, what's your opinion on this whole Rodgers thing?" And he said, I really wanted, he wants Lamar Jackson from Baltimore. That's probably not going to happen. But he said, ultimately, it's better to have Rodgers than anyone else. He said he wasn't a fan of Derek Carr, and I don't think he ever considered Garoppolo. And he's really doesn't like Derek Carr at all. And so he's not thrilled with acquiring Rodgers, but he likes the move because it's better than their alternatives. And I said to him, I said, you've been a Jet fan a long time. With the way things are, the way they've never drafted quarterbacks well, the way they've never developed quarterbacks well, wouldn't you rather have someone like Rodgers, even if it's for 1 year, than anyone that they're likely to have on their roster next year and in the future? And he goes, absolutely. So it was nice to talk to someone who has that perspective of, yeah, I've been through a lot of this garbage. And now he's happy to see this. Now, it still has to happen, of course. But that's the logic I would use if I was a Jet fan. Look, when was the last time we had a really good quarterback? Like, basically never. Like, give me Rodgers, even if it's for a year. I don't care.
Gives you a year to find a quarterback.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, why not? And look at it this way too. Where else is Rodgers going to go?
Right.
If he wants to collect that $59 million, and who doesn't? I mean, he has to go there. Green Bay's already taken the attitude, let's move on.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I get it.
Yep.
They invested a first-round pick in Jordan Love. And the same way when they did that with Rodgers, after a few years, you say to yourself, yeah, it's about time we see what we have.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I mean, look, I think ultimately...
And they got to be getting tired of this too.
Well, yeah.
Going through this year after year. I mean, it's exhausting.
That's fine. That's all well and fine. But ultimately, there's no limit to what I'll tolerate for a player at that position as good as Aaron Rodgers. Because you're not going to get that again. The fact that you went from Favre to him is a stroke of NFL lightning. Lucky as hell. Not going to happen again. I'm not curious about what I have with Jordan Love. I'm not curious enough to like move on from Aaron Rodgers until he's ready. Like, that's going to be Rodgers' decision. My standing stance on the team as a team would be, he's my quarterback until he says he's not. I'd have an unlimited amount of tolerance for that. I would, but because of the importance of that position and how good he is at it. Any other position, maybe not, but that position, yes. And really, what is it? It's an older guy who's not sure what he wants to do year after year. I mean, there's nothing all that terrible. He's never embarrassed the franchise. He's never gone out on the picket line. Like, it's not. What's he done that's so bad?
Oh, nothing. It's just the act gets old after a while. I'm not saying you don't keep him. I'm saying this is the way they're looking at it.
Yeah, well, and I think they're wrong. I thought they were wrong with Favre too. Now it worked out in Favre's case because of how good Rodgers became. But
Right.
I'm not a fan of pushing out a great quarterback. Just not what I would do. Particularly one that's been with your
It all
organization.
depends
that
on
long.
how much he wants to be pushed too.
Well, ultimately, it's going to be his decision, right? I mean, that's what this is going to be. But
where else is he going to go if he doesn't go to New York?
well, I would think a lot of places.
Yeah, but it's hard to clear 59 mil off your cap this late too.
Right. Well, I guess that's true. I mean, I would want him. I know that. Anyway. All right, let's hit the radio question of the day real quick.
Coffee lovers, Middletown is now officially home to the home run of our favorite beverage, Days Coffee. Days patented blend contains approximately 85% less caffeine than other coffees, which makes it better for you, yet unlike decaf coffee, still gives you that great pickup and tastes amazing. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until now required a complex and thus expensive sourcing and production process. With Dr. Lee's formulation, this enzyme's great health benefits can now be brought to your cup quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever before. Here's how you get a hold of this game-changing cup of joe. Go over to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com to buy your single-use digital gift certificate for Days Coffee. Radioonlydeals.com. That's radioonlydeals.com. Enjoy the preferred coffee of the Gary Ayd Show. Enjoy Days Coffee.
All right, we're back. So before we load up the question of the day today, to recap, the Giants grabbing Darren Waller. The Jets are inking the receiver from Green Bay. His name is escaping me right now. But lots going on, and we're just still waiting on
Alan Lazard.
Lazard, thank you. Yep, that's the name. So he's going to the Jets, and whether Rodgers goes or not, I think that's a good move for the Jets. He adds something to their team, and he helps them quite a bit, I believe. I think it makes a big difference, and I think that Rodgers probably will end up on the Jets. I'd be surprised if he didn't. I really would at this point. Like you said, where else are you going to go this late in the game unless it's back to Green Bay? It would be hard to imagine.
And I don't know if they're going to take him back.
I mean, they'd be kind of silly not to, but
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
He's Aaron Rodgers.
Right. All right. Well, there you go.
Who knows where their head's at on this?
All right. Well, it's time for the question of the day.
Health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call,
with your sports question of the day.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing and paying your taxes and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 855-301-5506, 855-301-5506, 855-301-5506. That's 855-301-5506.
Major League Baseball's automated ball strike system is good to go, for the most part. The technology can precisely capture pitch location, but there are still some unanswered questions about the shape and execution of the strike zone. So says MLB Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, Morgan Sword, who contends most players seem to prefer a challenge system rather than an every pitch deployment. And for that reason, the tech is not ready for showtime. Question: do you think it is necessary or unnecessary to maintain a human element in the game?
I always believe you need a human element. I don't like robo-umps or any of that stuff. And the truth of the matter is, I wish it would be something that would just go away. It's not going to, but I think the problem with robo-umps is what it produces is a lack of relatability, a lack of accountability also, because it's a robot. What are you going to do? Argue with the robot? Accountability and relatability are central to, in my opinion, any type of trust. Like if I can't relate to you and I can't hold you accountable, I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, then how am I gonna, voluntarily spend my leisure time consuming a product you're involved in? That's the way I see it. To me, it's an accountability and a trust issue more than anything else with these robo-umps.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't get it. They won't have to answer to anyone because there's no one to answer. The only thing I suggest, a batter comes up, bring a glass of water with you. Bring a bottle of water up. You don't like a call? Just short circuit him. Douse him with water.
That's right. Douse him with water. I love that idea. I love it.
Of course, what would they be like on rain days? Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny.
It makes no sense to have this. And I don't like when I hear someone say Major League Baseball's ready for this. We haven't even seen the effects of it in AAA yet. Let's not rush this along.
I agree.
We don't need it at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because
let's not push it up to the forefront here.
What is it really being done for? What's the true motive? That's the other question. Is it cost cutting? Is it
stopping the incessant bitching about calls?
Is it that?
I don't know.
Is it a combination of those two things and maybe wanting leverage with the umpires union? I don't know, because for them to be pushing and investing it like this so heavily, there's got to be a real reason, a heavy dose reason. And I don't know what that is. I
have a question for you.
Sure.
Do home plate umpires make more than the others? Like when they rotate around, does the guy behind home plate make more money?
I don't think so. I think the crew chief makes more money per game, but not necessarily based on where you're aligned.
All right. Because if that were the case, then I would say, that might be an incentive.
I'm not 100% sure about that. But
I haven't seen anything to tell me that's the way it is. I was just asking if you knew.
Yeah. That's my understanding, but I could be wrong.
I mean, if no one's calling balls and strikes, could they be looking to pay them less?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, wouldn't you still need someone there to call safer out at home plate? And
yeah, you would think so. You would think so. I'm sure they'll still be there. I think the way I've heard it is that they're going to have like the robot's going to call the balls and strikes, but the ump's going to signal them or whatever. So I think the umpire's still going to be there. So I guess it wouldn't cut their salary or it wouldn't cut their job per se, at least the way it's being positioned right now. It would cut their role, and that's the first path to cutting their job, right? That's the first step. I don't like this stuff. I really don't. And personally, I don't feel it's necessary.
I don't either.
I really don't.
You know how many companies I've heard say, we're implementing these automations, they will not affect jobs. Yes, they do.
Of course they will.
They always end up affecting jobs. That's why you're doing it.
Right. There's only really, in this example, there's two possible reasons: financial or reputational. Financial, they all both reasons have tentacles. There's like subsections of each reason, but the foundation of this is one of two things: financial or reputational. They're trying to save money or drive efficiencies financially somewhere in the business, which businesses do, or they're trying to, like you said, curb the constant complaining about calls, which this isn't going to accomplish. What it's going to do is it's going to get people saying, it's going to be it's going to change the complaint. Instead of saying, oh, that call's terrible, this umpire is horrible, the complaint's going to be, oh, that robot's clearly wrong. Whoever programmed it doesn't like the Cubs, doesn't like this team, is against this, is against that. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be conspiracy theories now. Instead of saying, oh, it's rigged or it's fixed, it's going to say, oh, the robot is rigged, the robot is fixed. So instead of the ump being on the take in the fixing, it's going to be the programmer of the robot that's on the take in the fixing. It's just going to shift the point of blame. That's all it's going to do. I mean, because people are like that. I'm right.
True. You are right. It is. I don't understand any of what this is going to solve and what purpose it actually serves. You're not cutting down an umpire, thereby not saving money. As you said, people will still complain about the calls. The complaint will just be altered from what it usually is. So I don't see the point.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, all right, let's take one more break. We'll come back and we will do a quick recap of tonight's NBA games. Again, 1 hour show today. We'll also do a little look at maybe some news you can use. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave. All right, we're back here on the Gary Ayd Show, and 7 games in the NBA tonight. A lot of stuff to look into. The best game of the night, probably in my view, Rich, is the Philadelphia and Cleveland game. So let's start there. What do you make of this contest? This could be a lot of fun.
This could be. I don't know how good it's going to be if Jared Allen's out.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, especially when you go against that guy Embiid. He's kind of a problem.
Right. Right. If Allen plays, I think this could be a great game. If he doesn't, it's going to be disappointing. I don't think they have enough. I mean, with Allen, you're not stopping Embiid. Obviously, no one stops it.
No.
But you at least have someone that can hold his own on the boards and make Embiid work, which is what you want him to do.
Right. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And I mean, Allen has a big, strong body, great defensive instincts, great feet, great use of his hands. I mean, Allen is one of the very best outside of maybe Rudy Gobert and Embiid. He might be like the best defensive center in the NBA. The guy's an absolute beast on the defensive end.
He is really good.
Yeah. You're going to miss him a lot. Now, the big thing, if I'm Cleveland, to try to offset that, if he doesn't play tonight, I'm going to try to put, not so much put Mobley on Embiid, but get Embiid on Mobley and keep Embiid away from the basket and moving laterally and going through screens to try to wear him out a little bit. That would be my approach, because you have to do something. The other thing that you're going to try to do if you're Cleveland is you're going to try to wear out the more veteran guards of Philadelphia. You have a huge advantage in youth and energy. You need to accentuate that to any extent possible. And that's exactly what I would do. I think Philadelphia is in the driver's seat in this one, but they are on the road. So home court does matter to some degree. I think Cleveland can pull some strings and figure out ways to keep this game close. But I agree with you. If Allen doesn't play, I have a hard time envisioning them doing enough to slow down and beat enough to win this game.
And the Cleveland guards, if they go off, all bets are off.
Right. Yep. A couple other games to look at tonight. Lakers and Houston. Of course, it's not a good game. Lakers just need a win. Sacramento and Chicago, ditto. Golden State and your Clippers. What do you make of that one?
They both have the same record.
Yep, they do.
Both teams are playing fairly well. The Clippers took them a few games after acquiring Westbrook to get the pieces together. Ty Lue still hasn't figured out a way to keep Terrence Mann more involved, and I think that's a mistake.
Agreed.
If they can get that working, it just strengthens that team, and I think it'll be interesting. I'd love to see them go into Zubats early. Because what are the Warriors going to do? Zubats is great on the post.
Yeah, he is.
And who are they going to put on him? Green? Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that matchup all day. It's still not a complete Warriors team. The Clippers are healthy for a change, which, geez, I hate even saying. Because in a week, someone's leg's going to fall off, and that's going to be it.
And we're going to blame you. They're going to come find you.
Probably. It's not me. It's the curse of Lake Erie. Still exists. LeBron broke it, but it was just temporary. And how do you defend the Clippers' wings? Again, and this is where a healthy Andrew Wiggins comes in handy.
Have you heard anything?
If they're going to be the team they were last year, they need him back.
What's going on?
It's an illness.
A family illness or an illness himself?
I do not know. Oh. It's all I could find out. I've asked people. I don't know. But the injury is cleared up. They just need him back before the playoffs.
Yeah, they need to get to the playoffs first.
I think they'll get there. They're winning enough games.
Couple other games to look at tonight: Boston and Minnesota, and Memphis and Miami. Let's start with the Boston game. This is a game that the Timberwolves need to win, but I don't know if they can. Boston's just so good, and they've been playing sort of in cruise control mode for a while, Boston. But
While Milwaukee passes them.
Yes.
And they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's true. But Minnesota's a team that does turn the ball over. Boston does not. If Minnesota has any chance tonight, they're going to have to not do that against this team. Because if they turn the ball over against a Celtics team, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
They average 15 turnovers a game. This Timberwolves team does. They need that down to be under like 13, maybe under 12 tonight. They need to really take care of the ball if they're going to have a shot in this. Even if they do that, I think their odds are long, but I think it will be at least plausible for them to win this game if they take care of the ball.
True. Now, there are a lot of uneven games on the schedule tonight.
Yes. There's a few.
I was looking at it, and my thought was, wow, Dallas needs a feel-good win against San Antonio. But San Antonio blew out Orlando last night. I know what you're going to say. It's just Orlando. But it's just San Antonio.
No, I mean, San Antonio blowing out anybody.
They have no business blowing anyone out.
No, exactly. Completely agree.
And the Knicks did what you said last night, too.
Mm-hmm.
They just handled the Blazers. It wasn't, it was a decent game for maybe close to a half.
Yeah. No, look, the Knicks are better. They were supposed to win that game, and they did. They did what they were supposed to do, and that's good. I mean, look, ultimately, this Knicks team is pretty solid this year, and this Blazer team ultimately is not, in my opinion. They're not a good team, and I think that the Knicks did what they needed to do, although Randall disappointed me. I lost my bet of over 29.5. He only finished with 24. He fought his shot a little bit, 8 of 20. Not terrible, but not great. So
he didn't have to, though.
He did. I had money on it. Come on, Randall.
I mean, they cruised through the fourth quarter of that game too.
They did.
They knew it was done.
One more game today that I wanted to talk about: Miami and Memphis. This is going to be a grind fest if there ever was one.
Yes.
No Adams still, no Morant. Of course, Zeller is questionable for Miami, so couple of bodies missing. I think if I'm the Heat, this is a team that I feel good against. I think that we can score enough against this team with our defense. Our defense can slow them down enough that will allow us to score enough to be in this game. And I think if we can be in this game late, I feel we're going to win because we'll make our free throws and Memphis won't.
And you're catching Memphis at the exact time you want to catch them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great time. No Morant, no Adams. It's exactly when you want to play them. And the Heat need this game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're on the precipice of the top 6 here. But if you're not top 6, you need every game.
No question about it.
And they do.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no doubt.
So, yeah, not a large schedule tonight, but a good one. And the nice thing is the ESPN games are Philly, Cleveland, and Golden State, the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
I have my plans for the evening.
There you go. Perfect. All right, let's take one more break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show. Again, a 1-hour program today. We'll be back, and we'll do some news you can use and also take a look at the couple baseball teams real quick. We'll do that. We'll do the baseball. We'll save news you can use for tomorrow. Baseball's next to wrap up the show, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number, 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, as we wrap up this abbreviated version of the show today, we got the baseball previews for you. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Oakland A's. So joy. I think we might have two pennies to rub together between the two payrolls. Rich, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. This A's team, they perplex me.
Yes.
They really do. What a state of flux this team's in. Is Aldemus Diaz going to be their cleanup hitter?
I guess.
Well, maybe he is, but we have youth. Let's look at the future. What current A's player is going to be on the next A's team that's competitive? Langoliers, Laureano, Ruiz, maybe. The A's have old guys. Diaz, Jace Peterson, Tony Kemp, Seth Brown, all over 30. I know you don't want to rush guys along, especially, when they're really young, but how excited can you be about anyone over 30 on this roster?
Yeah, because it's the reason you have guys over 30 is because you're going to be competitive and trying to win. If you don't have that, what's the point? There is no point. Right? Like, I mean, this is an organization that it's like going to a show knowing the outcome ahead of time. And what I mean by that is it's like going and watching accountants play baseball, because that's what this is. This team is run by its accountants and nothing else.
Agreed.
And so you can see that on the field. There's nothing in the way they've chosen to assemble their roster that says game plan for the future. Nothing that says planning to contend this year. Nothing that even says we feel kind of bad about not being either good or on the way to good. Everything about the team this team feels to me like we just want that revenue share check. We got to keep expenses as low as we can. So we went and hired a bunch of people that no one would want because they have no upside. They're not that good, but they're older than 30. So we'll take them. That's what it feels like. It's horrible. I mean, and like we were saying a week or so ago, there's too many teams like this in baseball. They might be one of the more egregious offenders, but there's too many teams like this in baseball. There's close to a third or more maybe of the fan bases that know without question going into the season every year, they have no shot. And it's not so much that it's a third of the teams. That's high, but the bigger thing is if you look at which teams it is this year and then pick a random year in the last 10 years, let's say 2016, it's going to be a lot of the same teams then too, and every year in between. That's the problem. It's not so much how many of the teams are like this. It's how consistent all the teams that are like this tend to be and stay in this state. For every Cubs team that was good at one point and kind of went through a downtrot and now is heading back up, they kind of did it the right way. Every team goes through cycles. There's at least two Oakland A's, Arizona Diamondbacks, Baltimore Orioles, Detroit Tigers, Kansas City Royals. Like, there's so many of these teams that just never try to be good. The Royals accidentally got good for 2 years and managed to win a World Series, but that wasn't on purpose.
The A's made the playoffs 3 years in a row, 18, 19, and 20.
When was
Doesn't that seem like a lifetime ago?
It seems like a lifetime ago. And B, like, the A's making the playoffs is like, I'm used to seeing that. But when was the last time you thought the A's were an actual threat to win a playoff series, let alone anything more? Like,
all you got to do is get there.
Well, that's all they do. That's good then, because they pretty much get swept usually.
And that's fine though. They got there. So you can't say they're constantly tanking if they actually do enough to get there.
Yeah, they're constantly putting out a team that is not attractive. That's why even when they get to the playoffs, they're bottom in attendance because their team's not interesting. Look, people will blame the stadium, and I'm sure that's part of it. But if Mike Trout was playing there, if Shohei Ohtani was playing there, if Pete Alonso was playing there, Aaron Judge, any of these star players, Bryce Harper, you better believe more people would be going to those games. It's a guarantee.
Well, when they're competitive, stadium or not, neighborhood or not, that place was rocking, and that fan base was loud. And who knows where they're going to be playing in a year or two.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing at this point.
Nothing's certain with this team.
And that's their own doing. I mean,
right.
They could have solved this a long time ago. I mean, I've always been of the belief that there should not be public money used to build these stadiums. I'm just not a fan of it.
I've been saying that for years.
Build your own stadium. You got the resources.
You're billionaires. Yeah.
Yeah, go do it. If you really want help funding it, go talk to your billionaire buddies and get private investors. You do that anyway, so just do that.
And I don't want to hear any excuses. Steve Ballmer did it himself.
Yes. I mean, him and Steve Cohen and a few others are extreme even for billionaires in terms of their personal wealth. But yes. All right, let's go over to the Diamondbacks. We got a couple minutes left, which is all I can
stomach. Do we have to? That's all I want to talk about the A's this year.
All right, good. Then we'll finish out the Diamondbacks and we'll hopefully be done talking about them too.
Diamondbacks, they got Lourdes Gurriel.
That's true.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah. They signed Evan Longoria too. He's 37.
37 and 38. Great. I didn't realize Gurriel was so old.
Oh, Gurriel's not. Gurriel's 30.
Okay, good.
Longoria's 37.
37, okay.
Bumgarner's 34. And so's Kelly. Those are probably your two best pitchers. What does this team actually have? I mean, nothing on their roster interests me. Except a few guys I mentioned.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to watch. I mean, and the other thing is they are buried. I mean, buried. Who's gonna? That division is you're not gonna move if you're them. I mean, look, you got the Dodgers, you got the Padres, just those two teams.
You got the Giants, always willing to spend.
Yep. It's tough.
I don't know.
It really is tough. That is not a team I'd want to be. That's not a team I'd want to be a fan of. I'll tell you that right now. And what's funny about that? Maybe my favorite moment as a baseball fan was produced by this franchise, the 2001 World Series. But,
Randy Johnson.
Yes, but I tell you, since then, it's been not a bed of roses. I'll tell you that.
As a former Arizona resident, I've seen this city go through their share of hell. I don't see them coming out of this.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
I agree. I totally agree. All right. Well, that will do it for us today. We'll be back to our normal 2-hour show tomorrow. Just a few things that got to get done. So duty calls. We will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. This has been the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.